All praise to the creator and sustainer of justice, victory over those who oppose justice. Thank the supporters and subscribers in Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Texas, Tennessee, Chicago, Mississippi, Virginia, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Oregon, and California, and all other places that might be joining us on the Church Talk Unlimited YouTube channel. Thank Google for the YouTube channel, and thank all of you for being there even when you're not comfortable subscribing or leaving comments. You may email me at the originalchurchtalk@gmail.com. You may leave a comment in the comment section of the previously recorded videos, and you may leave a comment today in the live chat immediately after we finish this video. Hello, it is Saturday, October 8th, 2023, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Welcome to Church Talk Unlimited with James Paul Berry. Today we're going to talk briefly on the subject, who am I following? Who am I following? We do a lot of following in today's activities, and we have always done it, but it is spoken of almost constantly now. In the book of 1 Corinthians in the Bible, the Apostle Paul said to the Corinthian church, "Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ," 1 Corinthians 11, chapter 1. But previously in chapter 2, he had spoken with them because they were arguing over who their preachers were. And I believe that some of our problem today is arguing over who our leaders are, as opposed to arguing over the fact that they are doing the leadership activities that they're supposed to be bringing forth. Who am I following? We have followers on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok, and other social media platforms. But when it really gets down to who I pattern my life after and who you pattern your life after, who am I following? Do you dare ask yourself this question? Are you strong enough to ask yourself this question? Especially if you are a religious person, a person of faith, a person who is still beating the drum of faith that says we walk by faith and not by sight. So we never see anything tangible as a result of believing. Do you dare ask yourself, who am I following? Who are you following? Who are we following? Do the one or ones that we are following lead us in a pathway that leads to justice? Or do these pathways and leaders only lead to the people spending more time and more of their hard-earned money? Let me ask that one again. Do the one or ones that we are following in whatever organization we are in, but particularly in churches, do they lead us, or do we lead you all in a pathway that leads to justice? And or do these pathways and leaders only lead to the people spending more time and more of the people's money? That's a verse in the Bible, in the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, I believe it's verse 22. And the King James Version says, wives, obey your husbands. The NIV translation says, submit to your husband. Which one of those are correct? Some people say it's the same thing. But we're all supposed to submit. But if the Bible was correct with King James, the wife said, obey. Who am I following? I heard this lady tell her husband one day when he told her that the Bible said the wife should obey her husband, and she said, I'll never do that. Who am I following? If I've made up my mind that I will never follow what I know is right, who am I following? Same-sex marriages. For what? By nature, we understand sex should be between two persons that can produce children, that can reproduce a small version of themselves, a male and a female. This is not a slur to anyone. But this methodology of sexual relations has worked like a charm all these many years. Our sex chromosomes used to decide whether we were male or female. Who changed that and why? Are we smarter than the Creator, whoever, whatever, put this universe together, messing up our children, messing with our children? And now some states, they can go and tamper with your children's genitalia without even asking the parents? No. Who am I following if I stand for this nonsense? Aborting babies just to keep on living the single life. I'm not talking about people who abort fetuses because they have been raped or some type of sexual crime that have caused them to become impregnated. I would dare even think of a woman having to carry a child like that, but just to have an abortion because you don't want to stop partying until you have the baby, that's wrong. But who am I following will determine what decision I'm going to make. There's a veteran named Teddy Daniels shared a video about some American politicians and American businessmen, one particular, Bill Gates, who's buying farmland, and China is buying American farmland, and that China has spent more than $1 billion on American farmland. He also mentioned that China owns 2/3 of the world's food source. Do you remember the pandemic situation that we suffered through starting in 2020? You know that somebody in America knew about this before it happened, and just like people know about this before it happened, before the food supply that is needed is going to cause food shortages. Not that there's a food shortage, but because the chain that controls the food can withhold the food until the people pay whatever is required. Do you remember how just 3 years ago, mild-mannered Americans were ready to murder each other over a package of shit paper? Remember that? People who had been praising God every day for 50, 60, 70 years were ready to act like they had never seen each other. People who had been standing on the lawn, standing at the fence, waving at each other, wishing each other goodwill, Merry Christmas, and all of those things. And because we don't have the conveniences that we used to have, all of a sudden everybody is enemies. Who am I following? Even church folk acting like we're lost our minds. If we don't know who we're following, apparently we have lost our minds. Where were our leaders in politics, in business and religion that came in and gave us the real stories, gave us the real information to get what we needed and get it in a uniform manner so that we could keep moving forward? And with these illegal immigrants coming into America and being embraced in whatever state, whatever city it's in, it's going to impact everybody. Why are our leaders so quiet? We know it's going to impact people, and I don't know why people deny that. And there are people on the streets right now who are already here, who are here legally. And what country is it that you and I can go to illegally and then show up on Monday morning talking about our rights and the services that we want? When the next demic, whatever it is, hits, what then? When the food is short and the toilet paper is short, will we be able to depend on our leaders, the ones that we are following? Are we able to depend on them now? Who am I following? If you had to answer to the Creator who put you on this earth right now, where are you going by who you're following? Would you be able to give an answer? The Bible says, always be ready to give an answer. But what do we do in the church? We get angry when someone questions what we believe. If our faith can't be questioned, how can it become a reality when we don't even have real faith after 50, 60, 70 years? There needs to be some results other than just rhetoric reverberating in our memories. There's always reminding people of what the Bible has written in it. Then you say, which Bible, which version? And we learn all those different versions, and then we repeat those, and we resoundingly announce to people about this verse says that this, but who are we following saying those verses? What proof do we have that we are pleasing God? What proof do we have that we are seeking justice? The closest thing that I have is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And when the church leaders that I challenge, that I speak about as being wicked and corrupt, are those who don't seek justice for the people who need the most help. I'm not asking people to be immoral or illegal, unjust. I'm asking people to be just in how they treat those who are less fortunate. those who are the most poor. What's wrong with that? And instead of somebody celebrating that, people speak against that. Maybe it's because of who's saying it. But regardless, what's right is right. Who am I following? These preachers have been collecting money for most of your life. If you are my age, I'm 72 years old. So if you're close to my age, most likely you've been going to church all of your life. And you've been putting money in by virtue of your grandparents and virtue of older people who liked you, gave you $1, a dime, or what have you. And when you had your own money, you started putting it in, and you've been doing it all of your life, you and your spouse and your children. What have you gotten from it? Who am I following? When I pay those tithes and those pledges and those vows, who am I following? Are you sure? Am I sure I'm following God when I'm doing these things? Do I dare ask these questions? Am I afraid to ask about my own soul salvation? Until next time, I wish you justice. I'm going to go to the live chat and see who's there. And if you would like to, I hope to see you there. Hello, Brother Walker. Blessings to you and your family. People today figure they are gods within themselves. They do whatever they want. Many use the phrase, in the name of God. Yes, I believe we are God, but we cannot take the place of the Creator. We are the offspring, I believe. I believe you mentioned today as the 8th. Think again, I may have heard wrong. Yeah, I'm sorry. Today is the 7th. Thank you, Brother Walker. It is the 7th. I'm getting ahead of myself. Many people follow celebrities, pastors, giving them credit for reading scriptures and paying them to read what everyone else has already read themselves. Pastors are like their God, leading the flock to the slaughterhouse like sheep. And that is one of the things that I'm concerned with, because I know how many years I spent just, for the most part, just listening to whatever the preachers and the Bible teachers said, and realizing that sometimes people were not allowed to question what the teachers were saying, and if they did question it, you could see that there was resentment, and the body language would change, and you would sort of be known as a person who stirred up trouble. Anyway, that is all we have for today. Apologize for the date given. It is October 7th, 2023. Thank you all so much. God bless you.